Hey everyone, my name's Haley and I've been outdoor sport climbing for the past 2 years. Today I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about the differences between indoor climbing and outdoor climbing and some things to consider before going outside. So the first thing to consider is the amount of planning that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to plan a lot more when you climb outside. You're going to need to know the location of the trailheads, the distance from the trailhead to the actual climbing wall, and then it's good to look at the route grades of that wall and make sure they're in your comfort zone. The next thing you're going to need to plan is all of your gear that you're going to need when you go outside. So you're going to need your harness, your rope, your shoes, carabiners, quick draws, a belay device, a helmet, a first aid, and a guidebook or your planning materials. And then once you've planned and gathered all your gear, you're ready to head out there. All right, so after you get out there, you're going to notice a few differences right away. First off, the routes are not going to be color coded and they're not going to be labeled. So you're really going to have to find your own way and guess about where those routes that you're looking for are. Another thing to mention about the routes is they're going to be graded easier than what they actually are. Meaning, in your guidebook or your planning materials, it might say that the route is a 5.8, but really it's going to feel more like a 5.10. Another thing to mention is there's typically no top ropes outside, so you're going to have to lead climb or at the minimum lead belay. So that means, skills like clipping in, cleaning routes, and just being overall safer in that climbing environment. When you're lead climbing, the falls are going to be more dangerous, so you're going to need to know first aid because there's not going to be any medical care, and most of the time you don't have cell service when you're out at the rock wall. So no first aid, keep your supplies easily accessible, not only for yourself, but also for people if there's bystanders around you. That way they could find it and help you if there was an emergency.
I'm going back up?
Yeah, just a little.
You recording?
Mm-hmm. Looks nice. So the last two things to consider are the weather and the rock type. So the direction of the wall can make a big difference in the type of weather you're going to experience when climbing. So whether the wall faces north, south, east, or west will determine how long it's actually in the direct sunlight. So climbing in the blazing sun isn't ideal because the rock can be really hot and the climbers get really hot and sweaty, and that leads to other heat-related illnesses. Another thing to consider is the wind. It can blow dirt into the climber's eyes, and that's never a fun experience. And then we have rain. So rain makes the rock really slick and can also weaken the wall itself. So that makes the rock climbing holds really fragile and they can break off, causing the climber to fall. So you also run the risk of lightning if you get caught in a storm as well. And then the last thing to consider is the type of rock. The most common types of rock are going to be limestone, granite, and sandstone. So these different types of rocks are going to have different levels of sharpness. So if the rock is really smooth, it's going to be harder to climb on, but if the rock is really sharp, it tends to lead to more injuries and also runs the risk of cutting your rope when you're being lowered off the climb. Tiny. Alright everybody, that's all that I have for you today. I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more of what I do, you can follow me on Instagram or visit my website, and I'll link those both in the description below. Have a great day.